So yeah, Rashab, the psychological thing is just, I mean, I don't know what it would be like for people who have autism level 3, but I was able to maintain employment at the tannery for 3 years, and then I was like, hey, I've got confidence. I don't know if, my confidence is coming back. The same confidence that got me graduating high school and getting my degree and saying, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff. Then I just failed hard out in regards to making money out of these things. But my confidence was back, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll be able to hold a job somewhere else. And I went and got a job at the factory, so same pay rate, but totally different. So I liked it, I wanted to prove I could hold a job there, and I did for 3 years, and then, once I got to Armaguard, yes, but that was the one where I was like, well, these other jobs I've been working at just followed the rules. And yeah, I maintained employment, but I never got promoted to supervisor or manager or anything. I just never got fired. I just maintained employment. And these people who sometimes didn't follow the rules, and some of them had been there not as long as me, got promoted. Some of them had been there as long as me or longer. So I was just like, well, you know what, the rules say this on the paper, but we'll see what people do, because that's the real rules. And I maintained employment for 2.5 years, but that mentality was the reason why I also got fired. But it's also I didn't do anything stupid. I saw people smoking in the public eye, and you weren't allowed to do that, and I thought, well, I'll have my cans. I'll walk around with a can of Coke or a can of energy drink and do that in public. I can walk around doing that rather than having to be cooped up, and then that was against company policy. So it was just that, and yeah, nothing. Hey dude, how's things? Yeah, good, thanks. I didn't have any issues with the management that was there for the first year and a bit. They didn't pull me up about it, nothing happened, there was no disciplinary meetings or anything. That didn't happen until about a year after that management left and the new ones had taken over. So, whoop-de-doo, some people might be able to smoke in areas and do little things like that, where I'll get pulled up for having a can of Coke, but hey, hey. And then after about me being there for a year, it was, if the supervisor was there, I was not the supervisor, but if the supervisor wasn't there, then I was the supervisor. And after about being there for a year and a half, it turned out that the supervisors were always getting put into different areas or different shifts than I was. And after about 6 months worth of this, people were saying like, why used to ask you to be supervisor every supervisor for 6 months, and then it turned out that your managers and stuff. I told them that, yeah, you were here for a year, you were never supervisor, and after that it was the next 6 months, the supervisors were there, but when the supervisor wasn't there, you just went on and did the duty because you were a supervisor when they were there. And then it's been a year since then, and there's never been any supervisors with you because you haven't been a supervisor. And I was like, shit. Well, 6 months at the time. I was like, oh. So yeah, the psychological breakthroughs all come down to, and it's like, you have to push past the trauma of everything embedded in you from what society has said. And because our parents were, a lot of them didn't even know that they had it, and they started preaching about autism awareness and things like that when I was in my late teens or mid-teens, late teens. And guess what? But they'd say that online, but nobody knew anything about it. And now it's like 20 years later, and people have. It's like all of us with autism or ADHD know all about it now. We've come to all these understandings that our parents knew nothing about. Now we're looking back, and all those emotional outrages were our parents reaching their breaking points because they knew nothing about it. Now it's gripping. They were just white knuckling it the whole lives. But it doesn't take away the fact that when they did blow up, it was on us as kids. So that doesn't change anything, and I'll never do that to my kids. That's why I'm like how I am with fighting for my rights and autistic and ADHD rights, because like how that I'm just going to be like, yeah, put on a smile and go out of my way for others, go out of my way for others, and go home and blow up on the kids whenever they don't give you what you want. It's like, I vowed to myself that I'd never do that. Terry Bell was right. That's why I didn't. Well, I wanted to have 3 kids in my 20s. I wanted to, but in my 30s, it's like, hey, at least I'm not going to be doing any of that because I got all the answers I now have. You know, I have experience as being supervisor. People don't tend to blow up on you and take their frustration out on you when you're a supervisor. Or, you know, you've got good relations with management and other things like that, you know. I got here at half time because I was reading my book and I didn't want to pull my nose out of it. Oh yeah, and watching YouTube channels like House and Terry Joel online. What else I say? Oh yes, but basically it's those there's 3 from Hinduism, there's 5 or 6 from Judeo-Christianity, and 4 from Māori mythology, and then after that it's just whenever I get employment, you know, there's a couple of places that have got me on shortlisted, you know, couple here and couple outside the region, but I prefer to be here because, you know, well, at least I get these, you know, because it's like me pursuing the great mountain, but if I fail, it's all good, you know. Before I've been getting into attachment, because I've been applying, sometimes I see like things that says I need to have like 7 years or 8 years, or 7 years experience in physical security, and I apply for it, and it's like $200,000, and then there's these other ones that are like 3 years, and it's like $110,000, so that's a 6-figure income. So yeah, it's those 3: the Hinduism, the 3 from Hinduism, the 4 from Māori mythology, the 5, maybe even 6 from Judeo-Christianity, and uploading the recordings, and just the recordings I made at Bogan Day Out, I was sober, and the recordings I made at Newlands Music Festival, those were both back in like late February, early March. I was sober at both of them. And apart from that, once I've written my book, just about confidence, you know, it's called How to Build Self-Confidence, and there's 4 chapters, and there's 4 bullet points for each one, and I've already done like the 4 bullet points of the first chapter, and it's like, if I pace myself, it'll be like 12 recordings. So it's that, and there's the 3, that's for 1 chapter, that is, and there's the other 3 chapters, and then, you know. So I'm thinking of a new name because, you know, just like Elliot Hulse said, sometimes you got to burn the bridges. Sometimes you got to burn the bridges. So I'm thinking of changing the name. But, you know, it's like a mourning period of changing the name for me. All right, see you.